I don't mind Claude too much because at least Yuzong doesn't necessarily punish Claude as easily compared to a Melissa, and it might decentivize Ackerman from actually locking in whatever mid laner it's going to be. Because again, this particular pairing, the IMU, works great. Oh, you choose a Farmus, I'll break the temp HP. You choose a Yve, I'll be able to gun you down.
Yeah. There's the Melissa that they really set up for. Actually, now that just how you mentioned how good this Claude is going up against the Yuzong, at least how playable it is against the Yuzong. Now, they also picked up the Valentina. Knowing that the Faramis will eventually be picked up by Ackerman, you have a hero that can actually manage against the Faramis, right? You know, having the Claude with a Blazing Duet against the Faramis Cult Altar, it's actually really good against that hero in a way that you can eventually eliminate already that factor of the Cult Altar because you just gunned them down with the Blazing Duet. Then they paired up with the Lolita. So far, man, I think that the drafts are looking really good for both teams. I mean, there's no clear winner yet. Everybody's just trying to counter each other. And that Lolita gives BloodThirstyKings a really good advantage to kind of protect this Claude against the Melissa.
Absolutely. I think, that's something that they need is some strong AoE, a good setup, and more importantly, some way to actually deflate the amount of damage that the Melissa is able to pump out. Just get in front of those auto attacks with the Guardian's Bulwark, and you can literally save your team just because of that. Now we're seeing that the BTK squad is banning out the Diggy. They want to make sure that these initiations are clean and aren't going to get disrupted very, very often. Ackerman very smartly banning out the Lapu Lapu so that Melissa doesn't feel too threatened. So now there's not a lot of things that can actually jump into that backline comfortably. So BTK have to decide, all right, Mobazane, what are you feeling like today? You thinking Martis? Because Martis feels kind of good here.
Yeah. Martis could be good. Fredrin as well. I think that Faramis Fredrin is such a strong combo, and if you think about the nature of how you want to play the Melissa, you want somebody in front. Yuzong cannot be a real frontliner. It's like a backliner, right? A dive hero. You don't want to be staying up in front, even when you're a little. I do agree. I like this Karina though. It actually is an answer to the Claude for sure. Can be faster than the Martis if you play it well. It doesn't really care about the Lolita many ways, and of course the Valentina. It's not a good hero to copy the ultimate. And there's the Kufra that we talked about. It's great. Man, the draft's looking real good for both teams. Now, how do you answer? It's immediately a Terizla for BloodThirstyKings. Flicker, of course, and the penalty zone will be perfect to counteract this composition from Ackerman. Because Ackerman, they want to go front to back. They want to engage, right? 5v5. They want to group up together. Terizla flourishes in that kind of setting. Wow, Gideon, how do you feel about both teams' draft? Because at least for me, I think it's pretty even.
I think it's pretty even too. It's really the only thing that I'm a little uncomfortable with is the Karina. I would have preferred to see something along the lines of a Kai, maybe something to actually create space for the rest of the team. Something that fits in between the hard dives that we're seeing from Kufra and as well as the Yuzong, and something that can actually peel backwards rather than just depending on the call altar from Farmis and committing to always all-inning. It gives you a bit more of that extra bit of flexibility in your line of play.
Game number 1, we are thinking that it's pretty even. Maybe the Karina is the only question mark here. But I guess Ackerman just really want to match the tempo of the market in this assassin versus assassin or fighter tanks jungle meta that we have right now. A very, very close game for sure. Excited to see it. Everything is on the line for Ackerman and BloodThirstyKings. They need the points. And what a game. What a draft that we have for game number 1.
Oh, let's see how they're going to be playing this out, because immediately I'm thinking about the strong side, right? For BloodThirstyKings, top side is the strong side where they can force priority with this Terizla, especially early on against this Yuzong for the most part of it. And if Martis is able to get a quick and early kill through mid lane, that would be the most ideal. The hardest part about it is that bot side, right? Because this is a matchup where, Melissa excels at against the Claude.
Melissa's naturally a great laner. Does this mean, however, that BloodThirstyKings will be more focused on the late game except instead of the mid game?
I would imagine that if BloodThirstyKings wants to play for the early game, they would have to play through that top side, because you can't expect to always be farming kills down bot unless you get that early mid push, and that's why you're seeing both, White Onyx is actually hovering around that mid lane to make sure that they maintain that control.
Yep, they are going to be focusing on to clearing the lanes for sure, as we are now 23 seconds before the turtle spawns. I wonder if Points is going to get to level 4 range, because that normally happens. You put the Faramis up top to get the XP, and then Points will just get the mid lane for all for himself. But it's quickly going to be poked down by Mobazane. That was a great move, by the way, from BTK, making it so that the XP in the mid lane will not be free for Toinks to get easily. Turtle fight ensues this time, 2 minutes in. A lot of pokes in the middle. You can see Toinks is gonna be late into the party. He's not gonna get this level for anytime soon unless he gets very quickly in the middle with the Tyrant's Revenge. When it comes to the ultimate coming up from Galaxy, Esports stops the ultimate, but the Karina will still get the turtle. Faramis will activated as well. There's T going down. There's out for the count, and they even get more. Lolita goes down. Ackerman will get 2 against BTK.
Beautifully done by Ackerman. And honestly, BTK, they should have had that. They absolutely had no reason to turn this into a 50-50. It was almost guaranteed had they just channeled the Numenon Blast earlier from Joy Botch. He needed to channel it preemptively rather than wait reactively, because then it was just too late. Kush was able to get on top of that turtle for free.
That is a massive lead that they are able to convert. 2 kills and a turtle means that they will now amass about 700 gold. And in the early stages, quite massive, even getting the lead to Wanderer. So Esports just poking through. Toinks will counter it out. Mobazane wants to go for the Toinks this time, especially with the Wind of Blast. The Flicker will not save him. He still will go down low and will be taken out. Ackerman loses 1 hero with 1 crucial mistake.
And when you compliment a team, they blunder immediately after. The caster curse, so very real and so very frustrating, because Onyx, again, the idea was, oh, maybe I can get somebody in that backline if they start disrespecting the Pixel Brush, but unfortunately, he gets caught himself and flickers back, trying to outplay the situation, trying to get something out of Joy Lodge. But, it's tough.
It's tough. Well, we did say that this will be a sweaty game. ISO, coming out from BTK, the gold laner, will try to go for dual lanes, clear out the mid lane together with the bottom lane to kind of amp up his farming. Not answered at all by Ackerman, so this is going to be an interesting move coming out from BTK. Putting their eggs in one basket, and that will be ISO into the latter portions of the game.
Well, I think for the most part, the fact is that Mobazane is down level on push. He's going to be able to even that out very naturally, but the fact is, if push just keeps up with his current trend, he will be able to make something happen. Oh god.
Oh, the Starkers want to go to Faramis before the Cold Altar, and they still want to go for the kill. They stun him out. In comes the Karina. The Jackal will be able to figure out there. Luminal Blast, minute up to 3! Where's the damage? Blazing Cold will be countered by the Faramis ultimate. The Cold Altar that they have stolen will not be enough, as Ackerman is going to be able to escape from that one. But they did burn out some ultimates. BloodThirstyKings regains some position around this turtle. It comes Steve with the ultimate. The next up to 1. It's going to be enough for now. But it comes the double lap coming out of the Cobra. They take on 1, but there will be the exchange. Mobazane goes down as well. It's push to take out the turtle. They get 4. Transferring into the Valentina. Ackerman just waited for the right moments to strike, and they got it.
They got it beautifully, and BTK, they just forgot about Zia. They're just like, okay, I guess he's non-existent, and Zia instantly taking full advantage of the position that he was in. Muddles was able to get multiple targets, and even with ISO, he's in a little bit of trouble here. Nicolette shouldn't die, right? Nicolette shouldn't die? Okay, she's fine, thank God.
Okay.
Whew.
Whew. And that is a turret that they are able to convert. Interestingly, Ackerman still wins all of these battles in the mid lane. See it through the replay. Mobazane. But look at the counter coming out from Toinks. Featured man. We were talking about him earlier on. He gets it, and they take the turtle afterwards.
Look, the roam role is so vital in the game now. It's a must-play role because it has the most impact, but we might see another engagement here. I don't think it's going to necessarily connect, but once again, BTK, they need to play for that strong side. Zia is able to kind of zone, not really zone them, but play from a good enough distance while still providing relevant damage that Claude doesn't have right now.
Yeah. I wonder how they will be using a T with the penalty zone. We know that this will be a game-changing ultimate to have, and he's hitting the shots though, but they need the follow-up. Bloodthirsty Kings. They have one death on Mobazane, who's now trailing behind one level from the Karina as we head on to the next turtle of the game. Turtle number 3, gonna be available in 18 seconds. What do you think? What should BTK do in this regard? Do they have to fight this, or do they just have to concede it?
I think they can actually consider fighting it, right?
Okay.
Because again, if we're thinking about the stronger members, if they're able to get an early kill or force out at least get the call altar out early from the side of Ackerman, that puts Bloodthirsty Kings in a pretty good position. They can start it. They can beat out this fight.
Toinks connects onto Valentina this time. Not gonna be able to force out the call other than two copy. Turtle now gonna be controlled by Ackerman, but Mobas gets the retribution. The middle blast only hitting on the one. The Pyramid Smoke activated well from Ackerman. It comes ISO with the blazing duet. It's gonna be the stun. D with the build is on up to 3. But where's the follow-up? They have the damage. They put out Tia. T gets the second kill onto Nico and Mobazane dealing the damage. They want to go for Kush this time. Zoning out. Finally, BTK wins the battle, and they still want more. They want to push mid. There's the Persona coming from Mobazane. My botch gonna be receiving some damage. Kush to take him out for now. No one dying in that succeeding team fight, but BTK gets to end the turtle.
Oh my goodness, there's no way that Mobazane should have got that turtle realistically. Kush was 2 levels above him at that point of time. Mobazane was only level 9 to Kush's level 11. It just doesn't seem real at that point, but oh my goodness, they got everything that we were talking about earlier. They got the call altar popped so quickly from the side of Ackerman. Nicolette could have held it on for just a little bit longer. She could have been the difference maker had she just been a little bit more patient. But overall, BTK, this is a good start for them as they regain the gold. They can start playing towards that bottom side to get their clawed ahead. This is what I'm talking about. They're making that move.
Yeah, good seal play coming from BTK. Easily countered by Muddles, however. Kush wants to dip into the fight. Please Joy Bodge for now. ISO PMI in. Has to be careful about this. They're just gonna be farming it out. BTK don't want to fight under the turret of Ackerman. Was a transfer into the mid lane where the turret is actually low. Kush gonna be meeting Mobazane, but this is just for BTK to take the turret. They will be successful doing so. But it's not gonna hit the mark. Mobazane actually having to back off for now. As they want to go for the purple buff play. No blast casted. Connecting up to 2. No follow-up whatsoever as they want to focus on the backlines where they have to make sure the piano is alive. Galaxy going for the play. Not gonna be getting anything out of it. The purple buff, where did it go to? I think Kush still managed to take it, so nothing really essential. But they did force out the retribution. Now the Lord Dance. 9 minutes and 33 seconds in. BTK wants to fight this and actually start it. Wants to rush it. Mobazane, 5 seconds for the retribution of Kush. Mobazane wants to still control it. Someone to team fight this time. They know that the Paramis ultimate is available into the red zone to connect the one. ISO going to damage. Was able to take on one, gets the second one as well. Joy Bush with the middle blast hitting onto one. Double kill for ISO as he takes on Galaxy. Mobazane to take the Lord. What a fight for BTK as they wipe Ackerman out of his game.
Incredible fight. That was an incredible fight. 2 Numeron blasts came out of that fight alone because it was so long, but BTK played it as best as they possibly could. They had their backline attack. They got the Black Dragon form out of Galaxy, and BTK knew that they were up in resources, so all they had to do was figure out a way to make Ackerman bleed, make them start splitting up, and that's the main issue. When you are walking into these big choke points, that's when T can fully take advantage of their comp. And previously, when Ackerman had this advantage, oh no, Mobazane got caught.
Let's have some CC immunity there, but he will be taken out. Is it a worthy sacrifice for them to get all of the other turrets? Arguably.
I would say no, because even if he didn't die, they would have gotten all the outer turrets anyway, so that's a bit disappointing, but hey, doesn't matter. BTK are still 4k ahead, and you can't take that away from them. Ackerman needs to reply at some point, because these neutral objectives are becoming harder to deal with now that Mobazane is actually catching up to Kush.
Catches 2. Will not pop the ultimate just yet because he didn't have any follow-up anyways. I imagine BTK will just wait for their jungler before they are considering engaging once again. Ackerman though, they want to fight it. Look at the grab! They found the Claude! Wonderful targeting coming up from Toys. In comes the Luminal Blast, hitting on the 3. But that's Framis ultimate and no follow from BTK, not having the Claude, no damage. In comes Mobazane, point low. Gonna be receiving the penalty zone on the 2 more. Oh! It's gonna be dealing nothing as he is taken out by Zia with the models intact. In comes Kush, ever so aggressive with the Karina, gets out into safety with 20% HP, but that means Ackerman with 2 pickups onto 2 crucial members will get a turret in the middle.
Oh my goodness, Ackerman's playing really well, and Zia, he is being extra careful with his positioning. He's not falling into his usual bad habits anymore. He really wants to beat BTK. He waited for everybody to actually utilize all of their spells, and even waiting for Mobazane to use the second part of his Mortal Coil before jumping in, preemptively ulting and popping the Inspire to hit 4 people with Muddles alone, completely turning the fight into Ackerman's favor. BTK not even close in that engagement.
Oh, for sure. It all started with Toinks just jumping in at the right target. I mean, would have thought that he would be able to catch ISO, and then the chain stun was there. No Purify whatsoever. Means that the claw will be taken out. Mobazane actually needing 2 members of Ackerman. Yato will want to get the Paramis ultimate, not available just yet. It comes Strikes once again with the jump ultimate onto 1. Very much in trouble, jump which going down. ISO gonna be countered by the Paramis ultimate, but in comes Galaxy to the backlines. Joy Butch gonna be caught upon by Kush. In comes the Lumen Blast, fade away as he catches the stun onto Kush this time, preventing his death and saving his teammates. However, Ackerman still controls the Lord.
Well, they just need to threaten it here. They're 50-50 in the Lord, but look at Claude. He's pushing on that top side.
Oh, of course, the split push, and that prompts some teleports coming out from Ackerman.
What?
Some Rico in there. Nicolette wants to snag Mobazane. And look at that. ISO with the isolation moves gets the turn up top. And now, Ackerman doesn't have to use long into the Lord fight, but they still have the damage anyways. Stolen, Paramis ultimate coming out from Yato. Saving and buying some time as BloodThirstyKings wants to control the Lord once again. They're winning this fight for now. Toys wants to jump. That's just 1. It's a ultimate, but Kush gets the Lord afterwards. They will lose the Cupra, but it won't matter. Here comes the Blazing Go and countered by the Wind of Nature. In comes the kill coming up from Zia, but with the ultimate up, he will not be able to save himself as T is able to deal the damage. They want to chase for more. Nicolette falling low, taken out by Yato. That means BTK will collect 2 kills, might be able to push mid as they would. Lord still into the middle lane as BTK considering trying to push this. They don't have the advantage anymore.
Oh, okay, they should be fine. Toinks is about to respawn, Zia is up in 12, BloodThirstyKings just don't have a progressive wave that's near Ackerman's base, but what a series of events there.
Wow.
BTK purposefully delaying the Lord, allowing the split push to go, but I think Ackerman was too... they responded too heavily to it. They revealed all of their positions, showed who was actually going to go for the recall, and the recall was even too late. Yeah. And by the time we saw Galaxy actually make it, they already lost the inhibitor. At the end of the day, Ackerman was still able to get the Lord. That it's saving grace. If it wasn't for that Lord Steal, BTK would have ended the game straight up.
I do agree with you, especially after winning all those post-Lord fights. BTK just owning it. I mean, you can see what the idea is for Ackerman. Whether or not Points is able to jump onto the right targets, they still find the opening because they want to go onto the right targets, and they are selecting their targets well, making sure that Zia is also protected, pops the Wind of Nature whenever he's threatened by the Blazing Duet. But eventually, BTK just it's like they're using the neutral objectives to win the team fights. It's not even about who gets the Lord afterwards, it's who wins the fight.
Yeah, it's about resources. It's about managing those resources as much as you can. And the only time you'll see Ackerman really wanting to clump up as densely as possible is by these neutral objectives, because that's how valuable it is 16 minutes into the game. And I mean, the gold lead at this point is starting to not really matter. Even though that BTK is 2k ahead, there's no power spikes to hit for their carries and only situational items for their less economically friendly team members. Look at that bot side. They're doing it 3-2 right now.
Yep. 3-2 for now because they know that they have the late game advantage, so they can just farm. Or at least for me, they look like the advantage is there for the late game. That being said, though, who do you think is going to be controlling this few minutes afterwards? 16 minutes in, like we know that this is the late game. Do you think
Well,
BTK does have the advantage?
all right, all right. I think BTK, in terms of team fighting, I will say BTK has a little bit of an advantage here, mainly because Kush is trying to look for these big executes. So Kush has to work very closely with both Toinks and as well as Galaxy, right? To look for people, specifically ISO, who's going to be the big game changer, and Yato, who most likely is going to have that call Altar, right? But notice that BTK is purposely not showing where this Lolita is, and you can tell that Zia, he's a little hesitant about actually walking up. Doesn't know where the marksman is, doesn't know where the EXP laner is, and more importantly, if Lolita doesn't show up, man, that Nugadon Blast could pick him off.
Lord Dance once again. But BTK, knowing that they have the map advantage, they will actually put this Lord below 50% HP. Then they will try to fight. Or will they? It comes ISO, but he's literally countered immediately. He will go ISO down for the count. No damage for BloodThirstyKings. In comes Galaxy. He's very confident now. Let's the petrify. On to 2. Not the knockup, however, as they force the Pyramid open. That 2 minute left is well used. Stabilize. Ackerman, they have their own gold altar. In comes the ultimate as well from the Melissa to keep themselves safe as they want to break down D. But Mobazane takes out Tia. Mobazane now low. Will not be able to take it out. Mobazane survives actually. For some reason. And the minions are going to be going into the base of Ackerman. That means that this Lord Dance will be favoring BloodThirstyKings once again. Penalty zone, knocking out Kush. Kush does have the immortality for this one. He wants to go for the 50-50 play. Can he do it? No, for now, because he's taken out. It comes to decimation as once again, Kush is low. Kush taken out. Only Galaxy left to contest for this, but Mobazane will not let that happen. BTK once again winning the Lord fight.
Oh my goodness, these Lord fights. I mean, Galaxy, he's gonna get out of here with the Black Dragon form, but man, these Lord fights are down to the wire, and if Ackerman just had an inhibitor turret and not had to worry about these waves, I think they can put all their focus into the team fight. You can see that their attention is clearly split. But here we go. This could be the final moments here in game number 1 as Lord pushes down into the crystal.
From Ackerman for sure. Even peace. So much damage points up in the backline. Catching Mobazane, but now he's gonna be pummeled by BTK. Fire missiles. He needs to Domino Blast cast it. Not gonna land on anyone. ISO low. ISO taken out. Mobazane take on one. Decimate will not continue to chain. In comes the cold altar from the Valentina of BTK. Zia taken out because of that. And now BTK will want to go for the GG push this time. Galaxy, does he have the tankiness? He got the ultimate, but he will be taken out for sure. No, there's a stage there! Shadow Stamping connects up to 2! Now BTK loses their members! It comes the Winter Junction, but can he survive this? No, he won't! Nicolette to take him out. Mobazane in no man's land for now. Kush wants to take him out. He's regening for now, but he doesn't have enough HP. Found by Kush. Would it matter though? It seems like BTK will still be able to survive for now. Ackerman, no conversion afterwards.
Oh, I thought it was over there for sure. A 3v4 situation with your marksman and Toinks already dead, leaving it all up to Galaxy to sustain through with the Shah residue, managing to proc it just in time. This is what I'm talking about. NA is good at team fights. The micro mechanics is there. Zane should be fine here, right? Yeah, he's okay.
Oh, I wonder how both teams are just able to get something out of nothing, right? BTK looked to be winning, and then eventually Ackerman just wins it. Ackerman finds ISO, but still loses some fights afterwards. This game is so crazy.
It is crazy. Like, the fact that ISO previously dying because he goes in with the Battle Mirror image and gets hit by Toinks again for the second time, and the first time was by complete accident. The second time was definitely intentional. So at this point, BTK, they need to control ISO. They need to tell him, hey, if you're going to go in, you got to make sure you keep an eye on the one person who actually can mess with you, and that's Toinks. Galaxy obviously is going to be a threat, but they are keeping track of the battle spells. And if we're looking at the battle spells right now, everybody has all of their resources. If we're talking about ultimates, they got all of it too. Even immortalities are coming into play at this stage of the game. The extra bit of econ to allow you to swap out your immortality for maybe a Winter Truncheon, and if you need a cheaper item, at least a magic dagger, just to keep you alive with a lifeline passive.
Oh, look at this. Lane's not in favor of Ackerman for sure. We know that the management will be easier for BTK as Kush got down to 50% HP, 30%, has to back down for now. It doesn't have the immortality as well. Onto the bottom lane, that will be answered by Galaxy. This means that BTK knows that they do have the advantage onto this Lord Dance once again. But I saw in Joy Bodge, this could be massive. Zia looks for it and he finds two of the members of BTK. And the Lord Dance, it still is going to continue though.
No, this is great. The fact that Zia was able to spot those two means that Ackerman can slowly take more aggressive positions on this Lord. Because if Lolita isn't in those bushes, therefore she isn't part of the fight yet. Oh!
Okay. Oh, looking really sweaty. 22 minutes in. Mobile Zane gonna be trickling down this Lord. 50% HP. Team might be able to catch a Kush. Indeed, he will. They know that the Karina is out there. They want to engage, they want to burst down the Lord this time. Isolating Kush, in comes Spikes, but Mobazane captures that one out. Paramis ultimate from Ackerman way too early. Luminum Blast connects with the 3. Onto the back line, they comes the knocked up, and Galaxy finally enters the fray. It comes the penalty zone connecting onto 2. But the damage is not going to be enough from Ackerman. They will take the nice, however, but now they're falling low. Kush, for some reason, gets the Lord with the Retribution play. Galaxy taken out. It's an even game when it comes to the heroes, but the Lord belongs to Ackerman. If Kush survives, this will be massive. So far, he's gonna be gunned down. Immortality popped far too late, and now they will receive the Assurance Grasp onto 2 more. They're connected against the combo. 2-minute blast into penalty zone. Connects on the 3. Nicolette, the only one surviving. I don't know if he has the stacks. He doesn't, and the Lord won't matter as BTK wipes out Ackerman.
Oh my goodness, that was one hell of a fight as they balanced the Lord while still fighting at the same time, but Kush beating out Mobazane on these neutral objectives. 2 turtles, 2 lords, all thanks to his steals. What a game number 1 in this best of 3 series. GG, well played BTK.